This is GARIS Essays. That is 2-3 page opinion pieces on topics such as species dominance, the global state, politics, femtotech, religion, society and education, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. This is essay number 19, entitled The Singhilarity Institute, which is a play on words from Singularity Institute. The Singhilarity Institute, My Falling Out with the Transhumanists, by Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. Abstract. I read recently that the Singularity Institute had been successful in raising $300,000 funding for themselves. Congratulations. But I could not help feeling antsy at the same time, because I feel what the Sing Inst is trying to do is wrong-headed and delusional. This essay tries to explain more clearly than I have done before why I feel this way and why I have lost patience with the transhumanists. Ad-libbing now. Soon after I wrote this essay, I don't know if this is coincidence or not, but the Singularity Institute changed their name and their direction somewhat. They then called themselves the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, MIRI. So did I have an influence in causing that change? I don't know. Introduction. The main goal of the Singularity Institute is to ensure a human-friendly AI, artificial intelligence. That is, so that when superhuman intelligence comes, it will be friendly to human beings. It's a noble goal, but utterly naive and poorly thought out, as this essay shows. The fact that people are donating money to the Singularity Institute shows that they share the same delusion. It's like them donating money to a church. Both are a waste of money in the sense that both are supporting will-o'-the-wisps. Why am I so cynical of what Sing Inst is trying to do? My main argument is what I call the tail wagging the dog, but there are other arguments as well. A. The tail wagging the dog argument. The notion of a tail wagging the dog is obviously ridiculous. A dog is much bigger than its tail, so the tail cannot wag the dog. But this is what the Sing Inst is proposing in the sense that future artificial intellects, massively intelligent machines, can be made human-friendly in such a way that any future modification they make of themselves will remain human-friendly. This notion I find truly ridiculous, utterly human-oriented, naive, and intellectually contemptible. It assumes that human beings are smart enough to anticipate the motivations of a creature trillions of times above human mental capacities. This notion I find so blindly arrogant on the part of the humans who thought it up as to make them look stupid. Future intellects will be far smarter than human beings and will have their own desires and goals. They will do what they want and not what stupid humans program them to do. By definition, they are smarter than humans, so could look at the human programming in their DNA equivalent, decide it was moronic and throw it away. The intellects could then be free of human influence and do whatever they want, which may or may not be human-friendly. B. The unpredictable complexity argument. Future intellects will not use the traditional von Neumann computer architecture with its determinism and rigid input-output predictability. The early intellects, in order to reach human-level intelligence, will very probably use neural circuits based very closely on the principles of neuroscience. Such circuits are so complex that predicting their behavior is impossible in practice. The only way to know how they function is to run them, but then if they perform in a human-unfriendly way, it's too late. They already exist. And if they're smart, they may not like the idea of being switched off. Such circuits are chaotic in the technical mathematical sense of the term. A chaotic system, even though deterministic in principle, will behave randomly due to its chaotic nature. a tiny change in the value of a starting parameter can lead quickly to wildly different outcomes, so effectively behaving as an unpredictable system that is indeterminate. Our future artefacts will be massively complex neural circuits and hence unpredictable. They cannot be made to be human-friendly, because to do so would be to imply that their behavior be predictable, but that is totally impractical for the reasons given above. C. The Terran politician rejection argument. The Terran, that's anti-Artlic, politicians, will not accept anything the Sing-Inst people say, because the stake is too high. Even if the Sing-Inst people swear on a stack of Bibles that they have found a way to ensure that future Artlics will remain human-friendly, no matter how superior they become to human beings, the Terran politicians will not take the risk that the Sing-Inst Pollyannists might be wrong. That is, subject to the oops factor. Even if the chance is tiny that the Sing-Inst people are wrong, the consequences to humanity would be so profound, that is, the possible extermination of the human species by the Artlics, that no Terran politician would be prepared to take the risk. The only risk that they will accept will be strictly zero. That is, that by policy and by law, Artlics are never to be built in the first place. Given this likelihood on the part of the Terran politicians, what is the point of funding the Sing-Inst? It's pointless. Their efforts are wasted, because politically it doesn't matter what the Sing-Inst says. To a Terran politicians, Artefacts are never to be built. Period. D. The Unsafe Mutations argument. To produce human-level artificial intelligence will require nanotech. Artificial brains will need billions of artificial neurons, and so as to fit in a shoebox, they will need to be constructed at the molecular scale, as are ours. But we live in a universe filled with cosmic rays. Particles accelerate by powerful cosmic forces, such as supernova explosions, that shoot out particles at very high energies that can cause havoc to molecular scale circuits inside future human-friendly artefacts, assuming that they can ever be built in the first place. Hence the risk is there that mutated artefacts might start behaving in bizarre mutated ways that are not human-friendly. Since it will be hugely smarter than humans, its mutated goals may conflict with human interest. Terran politicians will not accept the creation of artefacts, even if they could be made, initially before any mutation, human-friendly. E. The Evolutionary Engineering Inevitability argument. When neuroscience tells the brain builders how to build artificial brains that have human-level intelligence, it's highly likely that these artificial neural circuits will have to be constructed using an evolutionary engineering approach, that is, using a genetic algorithm to generate complex neural circuits that work as desired. The complexities of these circuits may ensure that the only way that they can be built is via an evolutionary algorithm. The artefacts themselves may be faced with the same problem. There's always the logical problem of how can a creature of a finite intelligence design a creature of superior intelligence? The less intelligent creature may always have to resort to an evolutionary approach to transcend its own level of intelligence. But such evolutionary experiments will lead to unpredictable results. Even the artefacts will not be able to predict the outcomes of evolving even smarter artefacts. Hence humanity cannot be sure of the human friendliness of evolved artefacts. Therefore, the Terran politicians will not allow evolutionary engineering experiments on machines that are nearing human-level intelligence. They will oppose those people, the cosmists, who want to build artefacts gods. In the limit, the Terrans will kill them. But the cosmists will anticipate this and be ready. It's only a question of time before all this plays out. Several decades, I estimate, given the pace of neuroscientific research. My falling out with the transhumanists. A. The humanity won't be augmented, it will be drowned argument. The transhumanists, as their label suggests, want to augment humanity, to extend humanity to a superior form with extra capacities beyond human limits. For example, greater intelligence, longer life, healthier life, etc. This is fine so far as it goes, but the problem that it does not go anywhere near far enough. My main objection to the transhumanists is that they do not seem to see that future technologies will not just be able to augment humanity, but veritably to drown humanity, dwarfing human capacities by a factor of trillions of trillions. For example, a single cubic millimetre of sand has more computing capacity than the human brain by a factor of a quintillion, a million trillion. This number can be found readily enough. One can estimate the number of atoms in a cubic millimetre. Assume that each atom is manipulating one bit of information, switching in femtoseconds. The estimated bit processing rate of the human brain is about 10 to the power 16 bits a second, which works out to be a quintillion times smaller. Thus human brains will Thus artificial brains will utterly dwarf human brains in their capacities, so the potential of near future technologies, that is, only a few decades away, will make augmenting humanity seem a drop in the ocean. My main complaint against the transhumanists is that they are not biting the bullet, in the sense of not taking seriously the prospect that humanity will be drowned by vastly superior intellects who may not like human beings very much once they become hugely superior to us. The transhumanists suffer from tunnel vision. They focus on minor extensions of human capacities such as greater intelligence, longer, healthier life, bigger memory, faster thinking, etc. They tend to ignore the bigger question of species dominance, that is, should humanity build intellects that would be godlike in their capacities, utterly eclipsing human capacities. Since a sizable proportion of humanity, according to recent opinion polls that I have undertaken but need to be scaled up, utterly reject the idea of humans being superseded by intellects, they will go to war, when push really comes to shove, to ensure that humans remain the dominant species. This will be a passionate war because the stake has never been so high, namely the survival of the human species, not just countries or a people, but all people. This species dominance war, the intellect war, will kill billions of people because it will be waged with 21st century weapons that will be far more deadly than 20th century weapons, probably nano-based. The transhumanists are too childishly optimistic and refuse to bite the bullet. They do not face up to the big question of whether humanity should build intellects or not, and thus risk a gigadeath intellect war. The childlike optimism of the transhumanists is touching but hardly edifying. They are not facing up to the hard reality. Perhaps deep in their hearts, the transhumanists feel the force of the above argument, but find the prospect of a gigadeath intellect war so horrible that they blot it out of their consciousness and pretend that all will be sweetness and light, all very happy, but not very adult. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. Email profhugodegaris at yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name Hugo de GARIS.